Hello, everyone. My name is Lonnie Burrell, and I'm very happy to welcome you all to our webinar entitled Building Confidence and Independence for Neurodiverse College-Bound Students, sponsored by Teen Life and Beacon College. To orient everyone with the webinar timing, we will first begin with our presentation, and then we'll have the opportunity to answer your questions in a live Q&A. At any moment during the presentation, you are more than welcome to go ahead and input your questions, and we will get to them towards the end. This presentation is being recorded and it will be available to you in your email. With that said, I am excited to have Ashley here with us. And so I am going to let her introduce herself.
You. Well, welcome everyone. I'm excited to be here tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and go on to my next screen. My name is Ashley Melito. Oh my God, Keck. I'm so not used to my new name that I just inherited 2 months ago. I'm so sorry. It's like natural now. My name is Ashley Keck. I am the Associate Dean of the Center for College Readiness here at Beacon College. Um, I have been working at Beacon for just about 6 years now, supporting our students in the admissions and the college readiness process. I have experience working with both neurotypical and neurodivergent learners. I specialize in working with students and families on how to self-advocate and what that development looks like at home, but also outside of the home, college transition planning, and then student-centered program design. So programs that we offer at Beacon are all student-centered. So not one program is going to provide a strict curriculum for every single student that would be the same, which is pretty neat about Beacon. So I work closely with students and families in navigating the college search and transition process. A little fun fact about me, I had an IEP growing up in high school. So for me, I'm really passionate about this. I truly care about my students because I too had been in this situation before where I struggled in school. People did not understand me. Educational trauma is real. And it's really nice to know that there are programs like us out here who are willing to take that extra step and work with our students who are neurodiverse. So that's just a little bit about myself.
Awesome. Well, I am definitely looking forward to this presentation. But before Ashley continues, we're going to launch a poll. And so I'm pressing the launch button now. And so you should see the poll coming up on your screen. And the poll reads, what is your biggest concern about yourself or your student starting college? So, is it keeping up with the coursework, managing time independently, advocating for accommodations, social adjustments, or staying motivated? I'm going to give it a few more seconds because the responses are coming in rather quickly, but there's a few more participants that were looking to answer the prompts. So I'll give it a little bit more time. Okay. I think it's paused. All right, great. So, Ashley, I'm going to read out loud to you the responses. And I had someone click in all the above. Thank you. Thank you. We should have made that an option. Absolutely. Okay, so Ashley, 38% of our live audience said managing time independently. Followed by that, we had an even 21% split between keeping up with coursework, social adjustment. And then followed by that, 12% reported staying motivated. And then lastly, 6% said advocating for accommodations. So thank you all so much for participating in our poll. I am now going to end it. And with that said, Ashley, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thank you. So that's pretty interesting. I love the all of the above comment because truthfully, we all have areas that we need to work on. So with that being said, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background about Beacon College if you've not heard of us before. We are located in sunny Leesburg, Florida. just about an hour away from Orlando. Most of our students love that because they get to go to Disney. Um, we are a private nonprofit accredited college, and we offer undergraduate programs in both bachelor's and associate's degrees. We do have 10 majors. We have a lot more minors. We have 500 students. So we are a small, close-knit community. Everybody knows each other at Beacon. Staff and faculty know who's here, who's not, who we've seen multiple times last week, who we haven't. And we offer small class sizes, so typically 10 to 15 students per class. So we have been uniquely designed for our students with learning disabilities. So ADHD, executive functioning challenges, dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia. We have majors and minors across career-focused fields, studio arts, business management, computer information systems, psychology, integrated academic support within coursework. So open learning where students can come and have a study time and have a structured it's a structured environment where a professional is there to answer any questions that the student has related to their assignments, as well as one-on-one support where students get to meet once a week with their learning specialist to make sure that they're keeping up with their coursework, managing their time effectively, getting out and socializing with peers. And then, of course, advocating for any extra accommodations with the Office of Disability Services as needed. What makes us different is that our faculty is trained to teach diverse learners. We use universal design for learning, so UDL, where we are kinesthetic, we are visual, we are auditory, we are doing it all, we are hands-on. We have the built-in academic coaching and support. We focus on independence and not dependence. The goal is that our students come to us needing a little bit more of that dependence, but by sophomore year, we are focusing solely on that independent component. We want you to strive to be on your own, and strong emphasis on career readiness. Just a little bit about Beacon. So, some of our objectives and outcomes for this evening. I say evening because for anybody else who's on here that's in the East Coast, it's evening for us. So we're going to learn a little bit about why the confidence and independence are stronger predictors of college success than just the academics alone. Identify the specific executive functioning and self-advocacy skills that students need before their first semester. Understand how immersive on-campus residential summer programs provide structured real-world practice in a supportive college environment. And then explore resources to develop a comprehensive readiness plan for your neurodiverse student. And hey, if you're on here and your student has not been diagnosed with any neurodiverse diagnoses, but you feel that maybe your student has ADHD, we have further programs for that. So hang tight and stick with us because I will provide you with a little bit more information towards the end, so that you can hear a little bit more about that. So, all right, some things are in front of my screen that I can't see what's on here. I'm gonna move this away. All right, so what students are adapting to all at once. So just beyond the academics, right? So let's just talk a little bit about what's happening when we send our students to college, right? So new routines, unfamiliar places and people, managing emotional well-being, building belonging, self-advocacy with faculty and staff, and unstructured time. That is what a new college environment is made up of. Parents, if you are on here with your students tonight, think about a time where you experienced change. I mean, I'm going through it right now with a name change, right? It's new. It's different. You're not used to it. You have to get used to it by doing different things, like making up a new signature that you're not used to because you've been doing a different signature all along, right? So think about the time where you got married, you had a baby, you moved out of your house, you got a new job. Now think about how your student is about to feel in this brand new college environment for their very first change in life, right? Huge change. They're leaving home. We often only think about college in a sense of academics, but what we forget about is how important it is to start thinking about what this new college environment is going to consist of with the academics. So we want to start thinking and talking about with our students what new routines would look like. unfamiliar places and people and how to get involved. How do we manage emotional well-being? What triggers us? What's our coping strategy? How do we manage these emotions in a classroom and outside of a classroom? Who's the support and who's the resource that we go to? Building a sense of belonging, self-advocacy. So being able to actually understand what we're advocating for. And then what are they doing with that unstructured time? Because at home right now, they could be watching TV, playing video games, right? So, there we go. We have this independence gap. So, I want to talk a little bit about what college expects versus what many neurodiverse students are prepared for. So, this left side kind of talks about where our students are at, what they're used to, and how the expectations will shift almost immediately as a neurodiverse student going away to college. So, students are used to parents or teachers advocating for them. This is true. IEPs, 504 meetings, our students are so used to just sitting in those meetings and not truly understanding the language and the jargon that's being used in those meetings. And now they're going into this college life with having to initiate communication with professors, and they probably have never actually had to explain what their modifications have been, what their accommodations have been, what they are really good at doing, and what areas they need to improve on. So imagine now we're sending our student away and we're telling them, have fun communicating with your professors on something you have no idea what you actually are communicating about, right? Our students right now are relying on external structures and reminders. So learning management systems, mom and dad. Our students are going to have to go into this new environment where they have to manage schedules and deadlines independently, all by themselves. Hey, you have this new learning management system. Figure it out. You're a college student now, is what they essentially are going to be hearing on a college campus. Limited experience explaining their needs. So like I stated before, students don't always understand why they need accommodations. They don't understand why they need extended time on a test. Students will then have to request and coordinate those accommodations on their own. Sorry, mom and dad, you're not allowed to be in those meetings with the Office of Disability Services with your student. Default to avoidance or asking for help quickly. That's where they're at right now, right? Then they have to go into just figuring out how to problem solve before asking for help. Ugh, that's so tough. Unfamiliar with college systems and processes, and then students are having to now navigate campus systems and resources all on their own. Where's the mental health services at? Where's my professor's office hours? We have class in, let's say, Beacon Hall, but where my professor's office hours are, it's about 5 minutes down the road. Not saying that this is Beacon, but at a typical traditional college, offices are spread apart. So, less than 1/3 of students with disabilities receive accommodations in college, and that's usually due to the lack of self-advocacy, the stigma attached to it. I am a product of that. I'll tell you a little bit about that later. So why these skills matter. Confidence provides students with initiative. Students will start engaging with unfamiliar systems, disability services, counseling, and actual college policies, right? When our students are confident in what their needs are, they're able to better initiate things, initiate conversations. The independence piece is important because it provides them with that responsibility, managing time, deadlines, daily life, building organizational systems and routines. Skills provide outcomes, better use of resources. Having the skills to self-advocate to that resource will allow for a better and more positive outcome. Having the skills to understand that they're struggling in a class will allow them to better self-advocate to that professor and have a more positive outcome of a grade. Family. We love family here at Beacon. We believe that family is the foundation of all things possible in our community of students. Having a family that is your foundation, that can allow you to begin fostering autonomy at home now before your student goes off to college, The gradual release of building confidence for both students and families is phenomenal. So, families, the important part about tonight is that this is not just about the student, this is about you too. Because the more you work on the skills that you need to start preparing your student early on before they get into this new environment, the better off you are at understanding how successfully, well thought out and well planned you have set your student up for their future. In most college environments, you really won't get the support you need, whether that's academic, residential, or career transition, without self-advocacy. So no matter where our students, and again, students that work with us in any of our college readiness programs, they're not just coming to Beacon. Some of them are going to very large institutions. And without self-advocacy, they're not going to be successful. And that's like the hard truth. So essential skills for incoming college students. Executive functioning. This is my favorite. I love working on executive functioning with my students and families because they start to understand how the pieces of who they are starting to work together into this healthy adjustment. So, executive functioning means planning, organizing, time management, building systems that work. Mom, dad, sister, brother, all of us have a set of executive functioning skills. They just all work very differently. Self-regulation, balancing academics, social life, mental health and well-being, understanding how long it actually takes to complete a task, right? And then self-advocacy, understanding learning needs, communicating with professors, and navigating accommodations. All of these essential skills link into what our college readiness programs are all about. Self-advocating, self-regulating, and executive functioning. Everything each of you expressed in that poll you took earlier on today. So, what are some foundations for success? Confidence and independence are learned skills. They're not personality traits. That's the number one thing I always want to tell families, is that these are things that we have to continuously work on to be able to be successful in. So students must navigate several new things at once: new environments, new expectations, less built-in supports, early exposure and practice, and stronger long-term success. Now, everything I'm talking about today is going to lead us into the summer programs that we offer at Beacon College, which is early exposure, practice, and stronger long-term success. So we want to make sure that we are allowing our students to practice, to support, and to have real life experiences that will allow them to increase their independence and confidence. So, how skills develop during summer programs? It's easy. We practice them first, right? Repetition in structured environments. So, let's say Johnny really struggles with managing time, and we are giving Johnny a structured schedule, and Johnny is still struggling with time. We are going to make sure that we are repeating day in and day out the same things with Johnny in this low-risk environment. There is intentional practice. We want to make sure students know how to wake themselves up, why they need to wake themselves up, what are the consequences to not waking yourself up. And we want to offer those clear expectations. Then we have real-world experiences. So we have opportunities for decision-making, problem-solving, and reflection. Decision-making is so important because most of our students will come to us and they just want to make decisions in the moment without actually thinking through how they can problem solve to have a more proactive solution to these situations. We want our students to reflect because we know that the situations are going to arise again. And we want them to know, in that situation, let's reflect on what we did and let's talk about what we can do better next time that maybe might bring us a better outcome, right? Scaffolding, increasing the responsibilities, giving them more chores, holding them accountable, supporting those routines. If Johnny tells me he does not understand how he's supposed to do laundry without ever being taught, we're going to walk Johnny through let's say 1, 2, 3 in the steps, and making sure that he actually understands what he's supposed to be doing, why he has to do that, and how he's supposed to do it. A lot of our students have never done these before because they've not actually had the real world experience and have not been provided with those increased responsibilities because at times it's easier to say, I'll do it for you, right? We want to cultivate autonomy. We want them to be independent. Then we go into confidence. We want to reduce the stress. Why do we want to reduce the stress? Because we know that a lot of our students can be stressed out in moments, right? Not understanding how to get something done can lead to increased stress. We may not understand it, but it is valid. It is there. It is stressing them out and they don't know who to go to, what to do, or how to validate how they're feeling. So, confidence will allow them to reduce that stress, to have stronger independence, and to see their future, to be able to visualize what their future actually looks like, to have hope for their future. So, what makes summer programs effective? What makes our summer programs effective, and any summer program effective for that matter, would be immersive real world experience and environments, a safe space to practice the independence of these students, exposure to college expectations, understanding how high school expectations shift into college, understanding how that parent high school expectations shift when your student goes to college, understanding college policies and procedures, and providing immediate feedback and support. What our students actually learn are how to manage daily living, laundry, personal hygiene, routines, navigating social situations, showing up to social clubs, showing up to our nighttime events, going to weekend activities, and having to be in groups with other peers who likely share the same interests as they do. Handling discomfort, homesickness, change, weather. I'll tell you what, if you're coming to us from the Northeast, if you're coming to us from California, oh, we got something coming for you with that weather, right? And it's important that we allow our students to experience these different climate changes and understanding that, hey, you love, let's say, Lynn University so much, but it's in South Florida. It's going to be hot most of the time. So, the last part of this would be problem solving without parent intervention. Our goal is that we get our students to start thinking proactively on their own. Mom and dad, don't answer that call while they're at a summer program. Let them figure it out and call them later that night to see what it was that they needed. And then ask them, were you able to problem solve without me? It's actually pretty incredible what your student can do when they realize that they can do these things on their own. Beacon College's summer programs provide immersive residential experience, academic and social skills building, emotional regulation support, community education support. We focus on independent living skills. We focus on increased stamina for college rigors, and we have group and individual coaching support. So let me break that down a little bit, and let me make sure, there we go. I didn't want to make sure that it wasn't broken down on the next slide. So immersive residential experience. Well, I'll get into this in a little bit, but we have 2 summer programs that allow students to live on campus for either 2 or 3 weeks. We do break that up based off of age and grade, where they get full hands-on experience as to what it would be like in a low-risk environment as a college student. Again, they're not getting a GPA. You know, you're not spending thousands of dollars on college tuition. And then we have the academic and social skills building. The academic piece, students are in class throughout the day, 3 different classes. Social skills building, our students are expected to be in social clubs that are required. And then at nighttime, we are like going around campus we have multiple activities occurring, but our goal is that we pull students out of their room to want to be socially interacting with other peers on campus. Emotional regulation support, we have our mental health counselors that will be there throughout the days, and then we have social emotional coaches in the evenings and on weekends to help bridge that gap. We have community education support, where our community educators will come in and also essentially work closely with our mental health counselors to talk about what type of treatment plans we want to work on, or maybe not treatment plans, but proactive planning that we want to work on to make sure that we are successful in this program. We want to focus on independent living skills. So our resident directors will do wellness checks in the rooms, making sure that the rooms are clean, that there's nothing that's in there that would call for a hazard. We focus on increased stamina for college rigors. We are going, going, going. We want to make sure our students understand that you have class. You have to go to get your homework done. You have to go be social. You have to go get your meals. So we want to make sure that they're focusing on what this increased stamina will look like and how college rigors do increase throughout the years or as you're going through college, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. Group and individual coaching support. So we work one-on-one with students, but we also work in groups with students to make sure that they understand that they're supported. So, what time are we at? 6:25. Yes. All right. So, College Edge at Beacon College. I'm going to talk through both of these programs that we offer that are just on-campus, fully immersive programs. College Edge is a 2-week immersive residential experience for students that are just graduating high school. So this year, graduating in 2026, and students up to the age of 22. They can be gap year students. They can be students who have gone to other colleges and have not yet reached they have to be below 30 credits that they've earned at college. So essentially just under their sophomore year. It's a 2-week immersive residential experience for graduating seniors and continuing college students. In the classroom, we have small skills-focused courses. Time management and organization is something that we focus heavily on in the classroom. Communicating with professors. We definitely want to make sure students understand what office hours are and how to effectively communicate with your professors and advocate when you don't understand something. Navigating a college schedule. And then we offer college living labs. College living labs are essentially mastering college relationships, basics of cooking, essentials of community living, understanding college policies and procedures. Out of the classroom, we have residential living and independence. So students are living on their own. Everybody has their own room, but they share a suite. They are independent. They are in charge of keeping their rooms tidy. Real-world problem solving. With the appropriate supports on campus, this makes it much more of a lower risk environment for our students when having to problem solve. Social confidence and experience, allowing our students to identify what their interests are and being able to work with other students in these experiences. And then some outcomes are that our students leave us with stronger self-advocacy, increased independence. I can't tell you how many families will reach out to us that next month and say, I cannot believe that my student is away at college and hasn't called me in this past week. Academic skill building. And then clear understandings of college expectations and policies, which also includes parents. Understanding that parents cannot just call a teacher or a professor any longer when you're in college, right? Parents are not going to get responses if they reach out to you or reach out to your school and say, hey, Johnny hasn't answered my call in the last 2 days. Is he okay? The school's only going to be able to check on Johnny, but they're not going to be able to provide your families with any more information. It is going to be the student's job to have stronger self-advocacy skills and be able to increase that independence and call home and say, hey, I'm okay. I've just been busy. Our Summer for Success at Beacon College is a 3-week fully immersive residential program for rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And I say rising. Students gain confidence through living on campus, navigating daily routines, participating in structured social and academic activities on and off campus, developing academic skills and exploring interests. Maybe they're starting to think about college and they want to know what major they want to get into. Some of the outcomes are increased self-awareness, really truly understanding what their needs are, stronger advocacy skills, better understanding of what those college expectations are, and truly understanding how social development occurs. So the difference between the two is that this one is more geared towards our high school students, whereas College Edge is geared more towards our students that are graduating and going on into college already. Summer for Success, I would say, focuses more on the social emotional, Whereas college ed is really going to hone in on the rigors and the stamina for our students. Again, we touch on all the areas, but I just like to be pretty transparent about what the two differences are. What does this mean for your family? Success is driven by skills, not just academics, right? We want to make sure that we're not just telling our students, if you don't get straight A's, you failed. Not the way we want to communicate with our students. We want our students to understand that they are being successful the minute that they can be independent, they can advocate for themselves, they can problem solve when they don't get a good grade. And that leads us into that early preparation, right? Early preparation leads us to smoother transitions and healthier adjustments. Real world practice builds confidence faster, and every student needs a personalized readiness plan. Every single student is not the same, whether you're neurotypical or neurodiverse. Everybody learns differently. And I can guarantee you, if I took two neurotypical individuals into one room, each of them would need their own personalized readiness plan as well. And so for your family, it's important to really remember that success is not just is driven by these skills and not just by those academics. So, in summary, what you can do. We like to know what we can do, right? We want to start early with intentional skill building. Start building strong habits and self-knowledge. Try to truly understand what those strong habits are. Identify and hone in on your students' strengths, right? Right now, while you're home, what is my student really good at? They're good at cooking, they're good at cleaning, but they can't get anywhere on time. Guess what? That's self-knowledge. We want to make them aware that they are struggling with time management and that we can work on that. Don't wait until they're ready to head off to start doing these things. We don't want students to go to college and feel like after their first semester they have failed. That could be the worst thing you could do for your student. So we want to go ahead and provide structured, realistic practice. Practice in realistic settings will help our students to develop those skills, right? The independence at a supportive pace. We don't want to throw everything at them at once, which is what essentially you would be doing if you do not allow them to have that early start with intentional skill building. Then we want to gradually increase this independence. Family involvement, which reduces transitional stress and supports our academic, personal, and emotional growth for our students. The goal here is to be able to support confidence and resilience in our students. Confident, independent students adapt, self-advocate, and thrive in those healthy adjustments. I could go on about this for days. I like to talk about our transitional model here at Beacon College that we utilize for every single one of our transition programs. It's called the adjustment model. And we literally go through every step of the phase with every single one of our students. Our may not need to stick at the very beginning where we're talking about self-awareness. He may be ready to talk about self-regulation and what those setbacks look like. Whereas Ashley may really get stuck on self-awareness. She's never been told her accommodations or why. She's never understood her diagnoses. She doesn't understand what it means for her future or how she's going to have to advocate down the road on her own without mom and dad, without a team at school. So we want to support confidence and resilience. And we're going to be able to do that through these programs and making sure that their academic journey is continuously allowing them to grow and gaining and increase confidence over time. So start now. Be proactive about our summer programs or any summer program at that. But I will promise you that the one at Beacon College is definitely my favorite. So I think I have quite a bit of time for some questions now.
Yes, you do. This was a great presentation, Ashley. I'm gonna let you get a sip of water because you've been speaking for quite some time. All right. So as you were speaking, we did get a few questions in. And so if you do have a question that you want to ask, feel free to go ahead. You can place it in the Q&A tab, or you can go ahead and place it in the chat. I'm going to look back and forth between both. Ashley, are you ready for the first question?
Yes.
Okay, so the first question reads, does independence mean needing zero help, or does it mean managing your life well, even with tools and support?
That's a great question. So I would definitely say independence definitely does not mean needing zero help because at the end of the day, if we think about ourselves, everybody needs help. no matter how independent we are. So I would say that as long as our students know who their resources and supports are and that they feel confident in their ability to navigate that and request that help, that means that they're independent.
All right. Our next question. Can international neurodivergent students who are possibly on gap year, can they take part in the summer program?
I love this question. Yes, 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 yes. As long as your student is within the age range that we have, or that I had indicated earlier, so as long as they're under 22 years old, they can participate in our programs. We do have actually a student coming this summer from Manila. We've had students come from Brazil, from the Philippines, and from Japan in the last year. So it's been pretty phenomenal.
Okay, so this question is a little more specific. It says, my student has slow processing speed, working memory deficit. How do I handle that? Only recently, the student was given extra time and less disruptive room for exams. And this student is a freshman. They're in their freshman year at a university.
Oh, that was a lot to break apart. Can you put
Yes,
that,
yes,
can you put that in the chat just so I can, oh, is that in the
absolutely.
chat?
It is, but I'll send it over to
Oh,
you so
wait.
you can actually look at it yourself, and you should be able to see it pop up now.
Okay. Um, yes, yes, okay. Um, oh, is the full question there?
That's it. Yeah. Hmm.
So my student has slow processing speed, working memory deficit, how to handle. Okay, so only recently they were given accommodations, I'm assuming. And your question is, how do we handle it? I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So we have students with the same exact diagnoses. So we work with our students to ensure that we are providing students with UDL, which is our Universal Design for Learning. So we are showing students everything we're saying. We're providing them with notes and handouts. We are being repetitive about what we were saying. So repetition is so important for us. In fact, at Beacon, we often don't believe in tests and exams, rather more group based and individual based projects so that our students actually understand what they're learning rather than memorizing it, right? Um, and so that's how we handle it. We are going to work with your student in any way or capacity that they need for us to do that to make sure that they understand the material. But also, we are going to make sure that we're changing it as time goes on, whether it's in our summer program or on campus, to make sure that your student understands how the rigors can increase. And hey, maybe college is not the route they want to go in. Maybe it's a technical school instead. And so those are the conversations that we have with families to make sure that we're not just pushing college onto our students.
Thank you.
Yes.
The next question says, is it possible to do the summer program only if you're already enrolled at another college?
Yes. Yep. We have plenty of students that are at other colleges that come for our summer program only. Yep.
Okay. And then someone asked, where do you find, actually, this question has come up a couple of times. Where do you find enrollment information, dates, tuition, etc., for the summer program?
Yes. Actually, I thought it was on here, but it's not. So that email address right there, acec@beaconcollege.edu. If you can just send me an email, I will provide you with all of that information. I think at the end of this, I may get some of your or all of your contact information as well, where I can also share all of this information with you.
Okay, next question. Who actually teaches the skill of speaking up for yourself, and when does that practice start?
Wow, that's a good question. So, who teaches that? I would think anybody that you come across should be teaching you when to speak up, right? So, at Beacon, I can say, we are all a team for our student. And so we are very wraparound and collaborative. So if we know that we've read so all of our students have to submit evaluations before they get to Beacon, we all review them. If we have read that Johnny is really struggling in his ability to advocate for himself because he doesn't know when, he doesn't know the right way to communicate that, we are going to know that when he's on campus and he hasn't said much, that we're going to kind of go up to him and have a conversation. Hey, how's your homework assignment going? Hey, I saw that you struggled to get your homework in on time. What do you think we can do? And that also incorporates our problem solving skills, but also allows you to begin to start self advocating for yourself and understanding that we are here to help you. So, everybody you come across should really be teaching you that skill at this time, but each of us at Beacon will do that during the summer program.
All right, our next question. If a high school student needing to do a credit recovery course in the summer and they were able to do that summer course virtually, could this be integrated into an individualized plan for a student in the Summer for Success program?
Hmm. I think we would have to talk one-on-one about that because I would need to see exactly what that looks like to be able to navigate um, if we had enough staff to be able to implement that for the student on campus. So I'm going to say if that's a pretty specific question, please email me so I can hear a little bit more about what that looks like and give you a little bit better of an idea if that's possible.
Okay. Next question. If a student wants to major in something specific not offered at Beacon, like an art college, can they attend Beacon for a year to work on foundational skills?
Ooh, that's another one of my favorite questions because most of the families that I meet, even when they come on tour, I tell them, hey, if your student does not really like any of the majors or want to do any of the majors that we offer, I always say come for a year or two and build on those foundational skills. That way, by the time you get to sophomore, junior year, you know exactly how to be independent, to advocate for yourself, to be confident enough to understand how to navigate a college campus. So definitely say yes to that.
Okay, the next question says how to find out if the university or college is supportive of neurodivergent students.
Uh, how to find out, I'm sorry, one more time.
So the question reads, and then I'll actually
Okay.
paste it here for you too. Okay. So the question reads, how
Okay.
to find out if the university or college is supportive for neurodivergent students.
Yeah, great question. So if you're looking into colleges, the first thing I look into is I type in academic support. I want to know what type of academic supports they have. If you're typing in an academic support and nothing comes up about a specific center for autism or neurodiversity, and the only thing you're seeing is the Office of Disability Services, that's a red flag because Office of Disabilities is something that has to be at every single institution. It does not necessarily mean that they are going to support your neurodivergent student in the magnitude or capacity that they're going to need it. So definitely look at the academic supports at that program to see exactly what they provide, which it also includes, is it a peer mentor or is it actually an actual tutor who's tutoring my student in these programs?
Great, great. And we're going to just take two more questions. So this is our second to last question. How do I know if a student is college ready? How to prepare for living accommodations with students with ASD?
Yeah, so I always encourage families to make sure that they, for one, try to get their student a single room their first year. That could be done through the Office of Disability Services. It might be something more of a medical request, but that's okay. As long as you submit documentation, indicating why there is a need for them to kind of be on their own that first semester, I always encourage that. Now, how do you know if your student is college ready? It's simple, right? Give them all the responsibilities that they are going to have in college and see what they do without prompting by you, without you having to tell them what to do, and without you having to initiate anything under any circumstances. Now, if they're not doing their laundry, that's the least of your worries because that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not college ready. It just means they're a typical teen, right? So incorporate what that routine should look like, and I always go by the I do, we do, you do. So parents, do it, show them, Do it with your student, we do, and then allow your student to do it on their own. If they're not successful in what that routine looks like, then maybe we need to think about what next steps and recommendations would be. You're muted. There we
On
go.
all those years, we still do it. I was going to say we're getting some really good feedback from our live audience, and so this is going to be our final question. And again, if you have any more questions, Ashley does have her contact information here on the screen for you to go ahead and jot it down if you haven't done so. Grab your phone, take a quick picture of it. Last question is it possible to do the summer program if you are 14 years old? Not sure what grade level that is, but if you're 14 years old, and then how do you enroll? Again, I got a few more questions about, again, how do you enroll in a
Yes.
summer program?
So, okay, enrollment's easy. All of you go to www.beaconcollege.edu right now. So go to the website and go to our summer programs, and you can apply there immediately. We do ask for documentation, 2 recommendations, high school transcript, and proof of a learning difference. And then we do a family interview. So there is a process to it. So I encourage you, if you are interested in enrolling, that you reach out to me and I can send you specific information on enrollment details. I do apologize that that's not a slide on here. As for the 14-year-old, it really depends if they are a rising sophomore, junior, or senior. So if they have just finished freshman year in high school, they are eligible. If not, they are not. But that does not mean they will not be ready next year. So keep us in mind.
Yes, thank you. Okay, and I know I've gotten a few questions like, can we get the slides? Like, is this being recorded? So, yes, this presentation is being recorded. It will be sent to you via email. Also, it will be on Teen Life's YouTube page. And so you will be able to get the entire presentation, which has the slides available for you in the actual recording. Okay, Ashley, any final words you want to leave with our audience before we close the webinar?
Yes, I want all of you to take action now. Don't wait until it's too late. Really quick, as I said, I am a product of somebody who failed college my very first year because I was attached to the stigma, didn't want to be seen at the Office of Disability Services. I promise you, if I had a program like this, I would have gone and conquered my first semester. Be the voice now and allow your students to fail at home now and fail in these low risk environments before sending them off to something much greater. You can do it. I trust in you. I trust in your students, and we look forward to the opportunity of potentially seeing them in the near future.
Well said. Well, thank you so much, Ashley from Beacon College, and thank you all for joining us in our live webinar. And with that said, we are now going to end our webinar. Have a great evening,
Care.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.